recording. Doing the feedback. Okay then. Hi guys. Welcome to Sister Show. Live here in Plymouth. We have actually the weather's not so bad today. It's just cold and crisp.
I'm freezing.
Are you freezing?
I started my coat on.
That's why I always wear. I notice I always wear a cardigan,
Yeah.
unless it's long sleeves. I always wear a cardigan. But yeah, the weather, the sun's shining, so that's something.
Yeah.
So it's Monday, the 23rd of November. We've not got that long to Christmas.
4 Mondays. Apparently.
Yeah, 4 Mondays.
4 Mondays.
Wow, you're quite organised with your Christmas shopping,
Yeah,
aren't
I'm
you?
pretty
You're done.
good, yeah.
Apart from the PS5.
Yeah, and a few adults. But yeah, apart from that.
You don't need to buy me a Christmas present because it's my 40th in January, so just save the dollars for that.
40? Wow.
Yeah, I haven't even started, and this is like, I'm usually on it and organised, but this year I don't know. I'm in denial that it's Christmas.
And that it's got it this quick.
Yeah, it's such a quick time, even though we haven't actually done anything this whole year. But
yeah.
I'll get sorted. I'll get it done. I pretty much know what everyone wants. It's a case of just getting out there and doing it. So, how are you, Miss Sean? What have you been up to?
Not a lot. Just celebrating Gareth's birthday this weekend. But apart from that, it's been quiet. What else can you really do?
How many birthdays have you had in lockdown?
Everybody's, I suppose. Like
Really?
Jermaine. When did we go into lockdown?
March.
The first one. No. So Jermaine was February. Zara was August. So we were
Sort in a weird state
Yeah.
still.
So yeah, it's only been obviously
Gareth, yeah. It's weird, isn't it? I think.
and then Maddox is December.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Do you think we'll get out? Who knows?
Well, they're saying that they're coming to agreement, and it's not just England, and I think that's what's taking so long for Boris to do his announcement, because whatever's going to happen in England is the same what's going to happen in England and
Yeah.
Wales,
Yeah.
which is the first time in the pandemic that they've all been on a joint
Yeah.
decision. So I think that will make a difference, and
Definitely.
I wonder if they're doing that because of travel. Because there's no point in having a strict lockdown in England and not having it in Wales,
For real.
and people are going to go up and down
Makes no
and
sense,
so
does
on.
it?
Yeah, but my birthday's in January, and I do think it's going to be a lockdown birthday. But you know what? As long as I'm blessed and I live to see another day, that's the main thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, what have you been watching?
What was I watching? So I watched the new Jingle Jangle.
It's
on
amazing, isn't
Netflix.
it?
Oh, I absolutely
It's so
loved it.
hot. It's so warm, isn't it? It's such a lovely
It
film.
was just really nice. I really enjoyed it. So last night, I feel like I'm gonna cough. I don't know. Last night.
I hope
we
not. You're in my
watched
bubble.
Last night we watched that. Really, really good. Really enjoyed it. I'm also still watching The Undoing and Riviera every week, which I'm really into. But I said to you, I'm going to be watching The Crown.
Yeah,
That's one excellent.
So Jingle Jangle is such a beautiful. We watched it 2 weeks ago actually, whilst we were putting up the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
It's such a nice, heartfelt, and again, it is nice to see a black cast in a Christmas film. It's a musical as well.
Did you see when they did the snow fight?
Yeah.
And they started dancing, and I loved that it was not just black.
Diversity is
and
mixed.
they were dancing to like an African.
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
tune. I loved
beautiful.
it.
It's
It
such a
was really
beautiful,
good.
and actually, I think it's one of those favourite Christmas movies that you watch time and time
It's
again.
like The Greatest Showman.
Yeah.
but
But Christmas.
Yeah.
Have you
and
watched the
younger.
Christmas Chronicles?
No, is that with Goldie Hawn and?
Yeah, he's in. Yeah, that is
And
brilliant.
Russell.
Yeah, that is
There's a
brilliant.
new
The
one
kids
as well.
always choose that one.
Well, they brought a new one out this year. Yeah.
Christmas Chronicles 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. They'll look
This
forward
year,
to that
it's
then.
coming out. It's coming out in a couple of weeks.
Because I think that's what Sundays are all about. Like when it's leading up to Christmas, is the good old Christmas film, isn't it? And
Yeah.
it's just that time of year when we don't really have much to look forwards to. And I might sound a little bit negative on this. The whole vaccine, I don't get the hype. I'm a
What do
bit
you
skeptical. I don't know. I'm skeptical, and all these news, I was speaking to my best friend about it this morning, and I was saying that all these news outlets are really, there's positivity and stuff like that, but I know, I'm a bit sceptical of it. I just don't get how you can get a vaccine so quickly. I don't understand it.
But you can't get anything for cancer.
You can't get anything, and other things as well,
Mm.
like, and is it going to become like the vaccine that you have for flu, where you have it every year? Because what they do with the different vaccines every year, there's a different strain.
Yeah, see, my dad's against it.
Is he?
And my mother-in-law's for it. So, like, I hear both sides, and I get both sides as well, but I do, my dad has kind of said he thinks that they will say if you don't have it, you know, you can't travel and
Yeah,
stuff.
and you can't go certain places.
Yeah, which I think is a big possibility. Which
And
is kind of, it puts you in a
yeah,
position
and in regards to, well, like they said, obviously my mum's a nurse, and they said if she doesn't because my mum doesn't have the flu jab either, if she refuses to have it, she won't be able to work.
Yeah.
So it's things like that, you know what I mean? They've got you over, and mum's like really fuming about it.
yeah, see, my dad had the flu jab a couple of years ago, and he said it felt like it nearly killed him.
Yeah, it made him worse.
It was horrendous. He couldn't get out of bed for 4 days.
Yeah.
And, you know, I remember having a flu jab years ago, and I felt really rough after.
Yeah, and in regards to the tracking, I know people saying, "Oh, it's like they're going to be tracking you. That's why they want to inject it into you." Blah blah blah. We're tracked all the time with our phones, so I don't even necessarily think it's to that. Maybe it's to manipulate us another way and do something else. But that whole tracking thing, I don't necessarily think it's to do with that. I'm just a bit skeptical. Like, how does it come up with? I don't know. So anyway, yeah, so go back to watching. So Jingle Jangle, yeah, that's definitely on the top of the list. Moesha.
I haven't started that.
Moesha's back on Netflix. Actually, I like it.
Is it better than
Sister? My girls are not engaged in it as Sister. They prefer Sister than Moesha.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it is so dated. Or they just can't relate to the characters. I don't know, but they love Sister. And Moesha, they were sort of like,
probably because it's sisters.
Okay, yeah, maybe. But I think Moesha's a slow burner, whereas Sister, yeah, and maybe as well because they didn't watch. I don't know. They just really liked it.
I'm trying to think back to when I watched it. Could you tell the difference out of the two girls? You know, Tamara.
I can now.
Yeah.
But they are still getting them confused. They really look like they're really, really identical though, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're just like, it's mad. I love twins. Twins are so special. So what I've been watching is Small Acts by Steve McQueen. This week it was Lovers Rock, and oh my god, it was so beautiful. It's really weird because the audiences are. So I'm looking on Facebook and people are being quite negative towards.
In what way?
Saying that it wasn't good. What was the point in the storyline? What was the storyline? What was it about? They didn't really get the gist of it. But on Twitter, it's positive, really positive. So it's basically, so Lovers Rock is obviously, it's basically, I would say that it's a genre of reggae music that were for lovers and people who are in love. So it's got a slower groove. It's romantic. It's about being in love or falling in love or meeting the one you want to, you want to be with. My mum always used to say that, when I was younger, I used to rub up in a dance, and apparently she used to rub up so much that the wallpaper used to come off. That was just obviously exaggeration. So to hear my mum's stories and my uncle's stories, and to watch it visually, it brought it alive. And actually I felt really emotional watching it. And it starts at the beginning. I hope people have watched it because I don't want to give them too much. It starts at the beginning, so that somebody's birthday, it's a character's birthday, and she's obviously having a blues. They used to call it a blues because it was actually dark in there, and they used to use a blue light over the main light, so it was dark like a club. And the reason why, because the people who would have had these blueses would have been Nanny and Grandad's generation who came over in the Windrush, and then they would have passed that down to your dad and my mum's generation. So they were first generation from the Windrush generation. Because we weren't allowed to have clubs, because we weren't given clubs, because we weren't respected like that. We had our own blues parties. So it starts off with them rolling the carpet because they want to step on the best carpet, do you? So they roll up the carpet, put it outside. They put the sofa outside, and then you see the sounds man come, and then he's connecting the speakers and stuff like that and fixing it. And my uncle used to be in the sounds. My uncle, that's my uncle's sounds in Birmingham. For anybody who listens who's listening to it in Birmingham, was called Love International.
Right.
Yeah, and my uncle was known as Jabba. That's what his name was. So he's really into music, and he's gone back into music now. It's really weird. He's gone full circle way. He's found hundreds of records, Sean. Like my nan's spare room was just full of records and tapes and stuff like that. So listening to them stories and then seeing it yesterday, and I'm not joking, they were on point with the hairstyle, the clothing, what they were saying. But the people who were acting were our generation.
Yeah.
So it was just nice to see. And then basically these, a man meets a woman, and then that's, so there's not really a strong storyline, but the basic storyline under it is that a man meets a woman at a blues, right? But it's all the other things that add to it that's going on. And for us, as third generation British kids or people or women and men as we are now, because you know, like we were in our 30s going into our 40s, it was just nice to see. And I was in the group chat messaging my cousins and stuff, and I was like so my aunts and them like in the group chat, I was like, you like used to rub up like this with the eye emoji, because it was quite sexual. The dancing was quite sexual, do you know what I mean? But even though the dancing was sexual, it seemed like there was no malice. Do you know what I mean? And then they start, and then you can see them, they're cooking up the rice and peas in the kitchen, and then they sing that Louisa Marks song, Silly Games, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, I know all the words to this song, because I remember my mum singing this song and playing this song, and it was really, really nice to watch. We don't see enough of that, and actually, I'm glad that it's on the iPlayer, so my kids can see that. This is what Nan used to get up to.
Yeah.
And I said,
is that the follow-on from the one last week?
They're all separate stories, but
All
small
from the same person?
All from the same person, yes. Just catch up when you're ready. It'll be on the iPlayer.
Yeah.
It's going to be on there.
We've recorded these
Yeah,
too.
it will be on there. And let your dad will love this one.
Yeah.
Especially coming from Handsworth. He will identify with this, I'm telling you, he will. And it was just lovely to see. And I said to him, I did put in the group chat, I said, the one thing that gets me is that everybody's in the moment. There's no camera, there's no selfies, there's nothing, they're all in the moment. And my cousin messaged back and he said, even though they're all in the moment, that is nice. However, it would have been nice to have pictures, because we don't have any pictures. They just didn't take as many pictures then. But it is a nice watch. But yeah, so the feedback on Twitter is different. But me, I'm just glad to see black people on TV being represented and our stories being told. You know, we have stories to be told. That's it. So, and the other series that I've been watching is The Crown. You said you haven't watched anything of The Crown, have you?
Not a thing.
The thing is with me, I don't see the point in the royal family, and I know that's controversial. They bring a lot of money and stuff like that, but I just don't like the whole colonisation and the crown. I just don't believe in it. I used to. However, I am fascinated by them because I like history and it interests me. So watching it, so when you watch The Crown, this is the 4th series. So they literally start from when Queen Elizabeth, who's on the throne now, takes over from the throne. And they do flashbacks to when she was younger and how certain things would happen.
Does she come across as a nice person?
She comes across as a fair person.
Yeah.
And you know when people say, oh, well, why isn't she stepped down? I don't understand why she doesn't step down. Oh, she's going to step down. I'm telling you now, that woman is not stepping down. She won't step down. She takes the whole thing of the crown so seriously that she will die, and then it will go to Prince Charles.
It goes to William, doesn't it?
Prince Charles, then William.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. And she won't, because she sees it as her duty. She just sees it as her duty. It's her. And she's...
And then after William, it's his oldest, isn't it, George?
Yeah, George. Yeah, that's how it goes. But it's just... But watching it in... So as I said, so it goes through a different series. So the different series focus on the different decades. And basically... Because it's the... Queen hasn't been always played by the same person. It was a younger person, a younger prince, and they've developed it as it's gone through the time. So this series is quite relevant to, I would say, because it focuses on the Diana years. So it's the most up to date that probably people under 35 will find engaging, because obviously I was around when, and I remember the storylines about Princess Diana, so prevalent, how the paparazzi used to target her and all that. Whereas some people won't even know who she is. They won't even know. Like, you know what I mean? And yeah, so there's controversy saying that apparently it's got all like the European leaders watching it, like really engaged. Because it's based on certain events that happened. Obviously, they're exaggerated for fictional purposes.
Yeah.
But every time something comes up and I'm like, I wonder if that's true, I'll Google it and it comes up and it's true. So I'm like, it is very close. But the people are saying that Netflix should say that these things are exaggerated for entertainment or fictional purposes. What do you think about that?
I do believe that, yeah. I do think...
You think Netflix should say that?
Well, ITV do, don't they? I mean, Netflix is a bit different. So that's like movie channels are saying it. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
Really don't know.
Well, I was speaking to my best friend this morning as well, because people are saying it's too real, and some people saying it's not real. The royal family don't like it. They say it's not at all like that. And my best friend was like, actually, I think it was probably worse, and I think they've been really nice. Yeah. And when I watch it, it just makes me. I sort of had respect. No, I didn't have any respect, but I'm just thinking, what Diana should never have married him. She was too young. He was still in love with Camilla. And actually, the Queen was so obsessed with the crown, and that, because don't forget, if Diana still was here, she would have been future Queen. Now she's gone, the future Queen is going to be Camilla.
Yeah.
Which is just, they should have just let her marry in the first place. He did not love Diana. He didn't love Diana. He didn't love Diana. It's clear, not just by watching that, but watching all the other things. And I've just come to my own conclusion. He literally married her for the sake of the crown. And you can tell, because she was the people's princess. She was loved, she was liked, she was beautiful. She'd produce beautiful kids, ticks all those boxes. Do you know what I mean? And I just don't think, but yeah, whatever. It's whatever you make of it. Whatever you make of it. But yeah, I don't think, but give it a watch. It'll take you quite a while though, because it's 4 series to get up to now.
Yeah.
But it's history as well. It's our history, isn't it? So it's good to know.
Definitely give it a watch.
That's it. And what do you think about, do you think there is a place for the royal family in modern day Britain?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Do you think they bring, what do they add to our country?
Money.
Yeah.
Money.
Do you not think it's a bit outdated though?
I mean, I feel like William's a good... Prince Charles is irrelevant really to me. I feel like William's a good egg. He reminds me a lot of his mum. I really like Harry. I love how Harry's a bit like rebellious.
Yeah.
And they're going to be our generation, like really, or the same age. Do you know what I mean? So, like, that's what we will know. But I mean, it doesn't.
Yeah, whatever. You're very much.
I don't watch the speech, put it that way. Never have.
On the Sunday, on Christmas.
Yeah.
No, you never watch it. I watch it, and I'm not even a royalist, but I don't watch it because I love the Queen. I watch it to hear what she's going to say, like, and I will watch it definitely this year. How's she going to sum up this year? Because this year's been mad. Do you know what I mean? Like, how is she gonna? What is she actually going to say? It's funny because growing up with my nan. And obviously my nan was from that Windrush generation where they were, obviously Jamaica was colonised by the British. So my nan's interpretation of the Jamaican flag is the Union Jack. And then she never used to identify the Jamaican flag as her flag because they were so colonised, like in Jamaica. And it was only later days that she started to say, oh yeah, you know, the Jamaican flag's my flag, because she, growing up in Jamaica, she always used to see the Union Jack. And I grew up with pictures of the Queen at my nan's house, like, and I remember on the wall there was a picture of Queen Margaret and Queen Elizabeth, and like little crowns like on her table. So my nan was quite royalist, and my nan would say things like, "Yes, I is like the Queen." And I used to be like, "How are you like the Queen?" Like, no, she used to compare herself to the Queen, and she was a queen. Not like Queen Elizabeth, she was a queen to us, but she used to say, it's only the Queen who's got good morals and values, and, you know, and in actual fact, because of colonisation, a lot of the rules that are the backbone of Jamaica is quite conservative and is quite Republican. Like a lot of Jamaicans, they don't agree with abortion, they don't agree with homosexuality, and they've got high Christian values. That's very conservative. That's very Republican. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's what my nan saw, and growing up under being colonised, that's what you would grow up believing in. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of weird, but yeah, I grew up with a lot of things. She's got a mug, and actually when she passed away, I'm sure it got cleared out of when Princess Diana and Charles got married.
Oh, bless her.
She did. She had a mug.
Yeah, my mum, I remember going down
It's
to my
mad, isn't
mum
it?
when Diana died, and she was sobbing. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I think I said that last week.
Yeah.
But like, it really affected her.
Yeah. She was different to them.
Yeah.
And she wasn't even a commoner because she's Lady Diana, and her family have always had connections with the royal family. She was born in Sandringham, which is the royal family's like spare house in Norfolk. Spare house, spare palace in Norfolk.
Why did they decide? Why was she chosen for Charles?
Because she was pretty and innocent, I think, and they thought that they could parent her. Her nan was sort of like a maid to the Queen, but like a nice maid, not like one who would do the dirty jobs, but who was, I can't remember what they call them, First Lady or something. No, it's not the First Lady. There's a term they use, but yeah, the royal family have always had connections with the Spencers, and I get kind of obsessed, like how you obsessed. So I've watched 2 documentaries now on Diana, and Earl Spencer, her brother, was saying that the Spencers as a family were quite different to people at the time, because he's the 9th Earl, so you can imagine how, if he's the 9th Earl, and that they wanted to abolish slavery. They were quite outspoken with their views back then, and a lot of people didn't. And he said he can see some of those values which are being passed down to Diana, which made Diana have a heart. And because the royal family was so cold, they didn't like what Diana did. And she held babies with AIDS, she would hug people. They said even when the Queen used to go out on her walks, the Queen would get out and she would have her gloves on and she would stand there and the crowd was there, not Diana. She would actually touch the people's hands and hug them and stuff like, and come down to their level and things like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's a Diana revival now, and I think it's a revival, and I think people are watching things and are engaged in it because there is a generation who didn't know about her. Now to me, I'm just going over.
There was a documentary on recently, wasn't there?
About the interview. Yeah, I haven't watched that.
Do you think she was killed?
Do I think she was killed? God.
Or just an accident? Tragic.
I don't know. I'm not into conspiracy. I do, like I said before, like even with Corona, I'm not really into conspiracy. Do I think she was killed? Possibly, because her boyfriend at the time was a Muslim, and I can imagine how can we have a Muslim as a stepfather of the King of England? If you look at it like that, if you want to, do you know what I mean? But a lot of people do think she was bumped off.
Crazy.
Yeah, so anyway, moving on from the royal family. So it's October, as we discussed at the beginning. So Boris said that lockdown will come to an end, but the different parts of the country is going to be different tiers. We've been quite lucky down here.
We've got quite a bit of corona down here now.
We have. It's the schools that I can't cope with. Opening, closing. My friend in Birmingham put in the group chat this morning. I spoke to her last week, Thursday, and she was like, yeah, my son's got his SATs next week. Not his SATs, sorry, his mocks next. Yeah. Really important mock exams. She put in the group chat this morning, the whole of year 11 are off. And I just don't understand why Gavin Williamson, our education secretary, has not stopped the exams.
It's not fair.
Cancel the exams. For God's sake, cancel the exams. Give them an assessment, a written assessment on and teach. You have to, every year you do assessments and get an average grade, because I don't understand how they can actually do exams in the summer when there's been such a knowledge gap. Definitely. I don't understand it, and it's unfair. Definitely. It's really unfair. It's so unfair. But anyway, I just don't know how it's going to be possible. And the thing is, last week they released the exam dates. They're later, so you've got the exams in June, ending of May and June, whereas usually they're a bit earlier. But I just don't understand why they. Well, anyway, it just annoys me. Also, what do you think of the? Actually, going back to Christmas, how do you think this is going to impact small businesses? Like, obviously, you do hairdressing as well. Like, how do you think? Because
I think it's going to be horrendous. Like, as in.
Because this would be your busiest time, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it depends if it opens or not. I think it does. Small businesses, though, are going to be killed because, like, people that would just say walk through town, that's how they're seen sometimes, or, you know, things like that. But, you know, all the big businesses, people will go online and use them still.
Amazon.
Yeah. Smiths.
Yeah.
Anything that is kiddie
Online, yeah. That's mad, isn't it?
It is.
It's, yeah.
It is.
I've got a lot of friends who are hairdressers and beauticians and people and like nails and stuff like that. I feel for them because they've missed out so much this year. You missed out on the proms, weddings, parties, going out in the summer, and then Christmas is going to be inside. So I don't know, people getting their nails done to sit inside their living room in their pajamas.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Are people getting their hair done to do that? I don't know. I know for me personally, I'm going to try and support as many small businesses as I can. I really, really am.
Yeah.
And even if it's just a little something, I will support
just
them.
In whatever way you can.
In whatever way I can. Even if it's a little something, I will. Like, you know, still get my nails done. I'm not going anywhere, I'm not really doing anything, but it's supporting a local business, so I will do that. And because of, obviously, the virus, it's had a massive impact on the economy. And, you know, Rishi came out with there's going to be no pay rise for teachers, nurses, policemen, public service workers. What do you think about that?
I think they're the ones that deserve it this year more than anything.
Anyone, I know.
Do you know what I mean? Like, to say no to them is horrendous.
But there's not a money tree. Where is he supposed to get all this money from?
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Do you know, it's so hard, isn't it? But I mean, I agree with you. It's almost like, yeah, they need a pay rise. They do need a pay rise.
But they could take it off some of the people that don't deserve it and give it to the ones that do.
But who doesn't deserve it? Because this virus has impacted on everyone.
Politicians.
There you go.
Take it off then.
Yeah.
They don't need to be paid so
70
much.
grand a year.
Don't need to be paid so
I know.
much. It's ridiculous.
With their second homes and stuff like that. Do you know what I think? I think when they go to Parliament, they shouldn't have a second home. I think they should get a building, put some beds in with communal kitchens and make them stay in halls like they would do. They should stay in.
That's not going to happen.
No, but that should. I don't
brilliant.
see why they have to have a flat in London. Make them stay. Just a massive building. Make it nice, you know.
Yeah.
Have a communal area so they can cook, so they can sit down, look at office, so they can do their office, a bedroom, a single bed, you know, because they're not bringing their partner, are they? Because they're coming to work, and let them sleep in there. How much money would that save taxpayers?
Yeah, a lot.
Exactly, I think they should do. I might write to Boris and tell him that this is my suggestion. So it'd be like a halls of residence for MPs in the government. That's what I think that should happen. But like you said, nurses and do you know what? People forget about teachers, and I don't know if it's because I'm so passionate about it, because I'm an ex-teacher and I still have a lot of friends who are teachers, right? And you get the good and the bad and the ugly in everything, right?
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, there are teachers working their butts off. There are heads, teachers working their butts off. And actually, the one thing that's keeping the country going, what is open now? The schools. The schools are open. So not only are the teachers trying to keep up some standard and some level playing field and keep a bit of normality for our children, they're also dealing with the emotional baggage that has come with COVID. So I don't understand the no pay rise. And they only had a pay rise slightly last year, which was about 3%. So that every time they don't get a pay rise, inflation goes higher, things get more expensive, and their wages aren't matching it. And teachers do lot. Didn't I text you and saying when I was working at a certain school, I was marking over 100 books a week. It had to be done. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Policemen as well. Look how many protests they've had to deal with this year.
God, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Firemen. You know, all those people contribute to our economy and our country. I think
Yeah.
they deserve a little something.
Yeah.
Because to me, that little poxy clap that was done for 10 weeks is not enough. That poxy clap, I literally went out once because I just thought it was pointless. I just like, I can't, like, it's not that I don't appreciate them. My mum's a flipping nurse. Do you know what I mean?
I went out every week. My kids
Did you?
loved it. I loved it. I loved the
couldn't.
community spirit, and it got me through. Speaking to the neighbours, ooh, how's you? And it was just
I
nice
couldn't
to
do
see
it.
everybody that felt the same. And
I was so angry that this is what they were doing.
you're a bitter black woman. You're gonna be one of those bitter black women in
No,
your little
I
cave.
couldn't. I literally couldn't. I did it the first.
Cussing everyone
No,
for being happy.
I'm not. I did it the first week, and then I just thought, this is what the government want. They want us to come out there and clap and deflect from what is going on in the hospital. There was no PPE. The PPE that got there wasn't given out. They were sending people with COVID home into the people's homes. There was so much going on, and they were hiding it with their little claps. I don't need to stand outside there and clap. Give them a pay rise.
Yeah.
Not a poxy NHS badge that they were going to give away for free, but then they said that you had to buy it.
Listen, it happens next
£8.
week. I'm still clapping outside.
I'm not clapping.
You can go on and on and on.
I'm not clapping.
I'll still be there with my saucepans.
I clap for my mum and my
Like a
friends.
seal.
I can clap inside. I did the first week, but after that I was just like, when I heard the reality, what was going on, what my mum was telling me,
The thing is, though,
it made me
Natasha,
so upset.
sadly, that the world, no matter what pandemic or what goes on, the government is still going to have an ulterior motive with every single thing with
yeah.
me. Not just COVID.
Yeah, everything.
Cancer. How long have we been doing cancer research? Too much money gets ploughed into it.
Brexit.
To find something. Brexit. There's so many things that you can get angry about, but it's out of our control.
Yeah, definitely.
Literally, we are a penny in an
ocean.
We are literally
The Plymouth Sound ocean. The
Yeah.
Plymouth Sound.
Yeah.
We're a penny in the Plymouth Sound.
It's literally we our voices can be heard, and we can give our opinions and hopefully preach it on to people that are around us and care. But is it going to make a change?
True. Poland still protesting about the abortion laws.
F Poland, I'm over them.
No, but can you believe that they're still?
I'm so over that
I know.
whole subject.
I know.
Especially having really close friends, obviously Bella and Tess, especially having that kind of love that I have for them. This sort of crap annoys me, so I've got no time.
It's irritating, isn't it?
I've just got
But
no
do you know
time
what?
for it.
Respect to the protesters who have been out there for over a month now, protested. They've had to call. It's gone so bad. They've called the police from all over
Does it
the
look
country.
like it's going to work?
They haven't passed through the law yet. That's what they want to do. So it's delaying it. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're not progressive at all, though. They've gone backwards. And actually, if they've got this ignorant views against this, I don't know if I want to visit there as a black woman. Am I safe?
In Poland?
Yeah.
To be fair, for me personally, I've got a list of places I'd love to go, and that's not one of them anyway. So,
Yeah.
you know, not in a horrible way, but it's just... It's a hard one, isn't it? Because I was going to say something that actually sounded quite ignorant then, because I was like, because it doesn't affect me, or because I'm not there, but it doesn't mean it's less relevant, because actually, imagine if Isaiah or Maddox or any of them decided that actually I want to live in Poland.
Or they meet a Polish girlfriend or a Polish boyfriend.
Then they're screwed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So,
Ryan's daughter's half Polish.
Yeah, of course.
So,
yeah.
do you know what I mean? It's like, they're not progressive at all. It's just, so I don't even know that. Donald Trump refusing to believe that he lost the election.
My dad talks about Trump all the time. And I always give my dad hell. I'm like, that man, we need to stop talking about him. My dad,
I know, he's horrible. My mum does. Do you know, I think I want to see the FBI remove him from the White House.
I think he's a character.
It's a joke, isn't it?
I think he's a character. I watched this stand-up show last night. Have you ever heard of a woman called Samore?
Oh, no.
You need to watch her. So she did an impression of Donald Trump's
Oh,
wife.
God.
And literally, she was like, I've never seen a woman who doesn't have any expression, like no neck. And she's just like a vampire. We were laughing. It's really funny. She's funny.
Is it the way he does this with his lips? Do you know, I couldn't get over when all them TikToks with him dancing. When he was doing those dances, I was just like, oh my God, what is that dancing? What is that dancing? He used to do that dancing. I'm just like, and what made me laugh, he did it to YMCA. Doesn't he know that that's like the anthem for gay people?
So
And he used to dance to it. I literally have to share one of them on our page later because that is just hilarious. He's just funny.
I didn't know.
So funny. Do you know what? Like doing research, like yesterday, because there's not much news been around really, apart from stupid vaccine and all that. And do you know what does me when the news outlets are constantly putting certain things out, and it's like, what's going on behind the scenes? Because they do it to distract us.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if people are aware, but we're also very close to being out of Europe.
Yeah. And
Brexit comes in.
I just need to completely change the subject. If you catch me yawning midway through, it's literally because I was up till stupid.
Oh, it's not because I'm boring you.
No, it's not. It's like one of those things, you know, when you sat down, you're like, ooh.
Yeah, Brexit is 31st of December. We're out of Europe. That's it, done. Do you know what I mean?
31st of December?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's not far.
Did you vote in or out?
I'm in.
Yeah.
There's no way I would vote out. Like, how? And then what's that little ferret woman? Preeti Patel, little ferret, right? About, I'm happy that we've gone through and we've passed through the thing for no movement in Europe. Are you mental? She's happy that our kids can't pick up their passport and go from country to country to country around Europe. She's happy about that, stopping people's movement freedom. She's happy about that. Freedom of movement.
Why has it stopped it? I don't understand.
Because we're out of the treaty, right? Well, like, you can't have certain rules if you're not in it. So now, because we're a part of it, like, say if I said to Sean, let's go and live in France, we could take up our passport and go there because we're Europeans, aren't we? But now, because we're out of it, there are certain rules that we're just not included in the club, basically. So we haven't got that right of freedom. Hence our passports changing back to navy blue. So, and you know when we used to go like Spain or somewhere like that and you could just walk right through because you're an EU citizen, we're going to have to line up now and they're going to start stamping our passports and stuff.
You're fuming.
I am fuming because I just don't understand how anybody would be happy about that.
When the results come out, were you...
I literally couldn't believe it.
Triggered?
Yeah. I didn't wear any makeup the next day to work. Cause I was like, and then I had jackass.
I didn't wear any makeup.
Yeah.
What was that going to achieve?
Because I just couldn't.
Like protest?
No, because I couldn't. Like, because I just, in the morning, I was just watching the news and I was like, I literally can't believe. Because I thought we were, well, it was close, wasn't it? It was like 50, was it like, I don't know, 57, 6 something. It was so close. And I just couldn't believe that they actually voted us out. Like, are these people mental? And then you got jackass teachers saying, well, there's too many foreigners in this country. This might stop the borders. Well, it hasn't stopped the thousands that are coming on their little rubber dinghies, has it? No. It will not stop. It will do nothing to do with immigration. And a lot of people voted out because of immigration.
That's exactly it.
The people who voted out are the All Lives Matter people and the kids shouldn't get free school meals people. They all fall under one bubble. They do. They do. I'm sorry. They do. They do. They do. Because it's not going to stop immigration. Do you know what I mean?
No.
You find immigrants as far as Jamaica, they have to put not immigrants, I mean like asylum seekers. If you are claiming it's just like if civil war was to break out now, under the League of Nations, not the League of Nations, the UN, if we wanted to go over to France as a safe place, we could. So, you know, did you actually vote? Do you vote? Sean didn't vote. Sean, you was that 1% that could have made a difference. Do you not vote?
No, I don't.
What, in any election?
Never ever have in my
Why?
36 years.
Why?
Because I am not clued up enough, and I feel like each one is brainwashing.
Okay. All right. However...
And I like a bit from each. I don't like just one. I like a bit from every
So then
single
choose a neutral party, like the Green Party or something.
Because they're never going to win.
But don't ever waste your vote. Look how much black people, particularly black women, have gone through to vote. And there are some countries to this day that still do not have that right to
I've
vote.
never, ever voted.
Does your dad vote?
Yeah.
Does Gareth vote?
I don't know if he has.
Mm.
Not sure.
Read up on it then. There's so much information there. There's even tests that you can do that ask you a bunch of
I
questions.
did it last year.
And what did it come out
First
as?
ever one.
Conservative.
No, I can't remember. I think it was Labour.
Yeah, I would say you're more Labour. With the values that I've gauged from
I
you.
think it's Labour, but because it was really playing on my mind, I didn't have a clue. I was completely. So yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't, like, even my mum will say, oh, I have to make it home to vote because my daughter will never forgive me. I put that much pressure on my mum. No, it's just a massive thing for me to vote because I just know that, you know, like, you go back, 60 years ago, black people couldn't vote. And you take it another further, black women couldn't vote. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't do that to my ancestors. They paved the way for me to make a difference. And if you look at the voting thing in America, how certain things impacted, and it's because people go. If you don't go out and vote, there's just not. You don't make a difference. You've got your one vote. Might not be that 1%, but it might make a difference. How do you know?
Okay.
It's not. So next time you're going to vote, right? Aren't you? You're going to vote.
Maybe.
You are.
You're
You
taking
are?
my slip.
Yeah, I am. I'll do it for you. All black people look the same apparently, so they won't know. I'll go to Pimpton.
Yeah.
And then go to Southway.
It's Maddox's school.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. So you're gonna vote, aren't you?
Yeah.
Did you, just out of curiosity, you know, when you were younger, did you used to shop in Topshop?
Do you know, Topshop's never been one of my faves.
Oh, what was your shop when you were younger?
Tammy Girl.
In BHS?
And Miss Selfridge.
Okay. I hated when they closed our one down in
New
Plymouth.
Look. I've always liked New
Yeah.
Look.
New Look's quite new though, isn't
Topshop
it?
I like, but I never used to like their jeans.
Didn't used to fit black women at all, did they? They always used to
still
come
don't.
down. Yeah, I don't buy jeans from Topshop.
So yeah, that's not for me, Topshop. But you know.
Yeah, well, apparently Topshop has lost its cool.
Who says this?
There was a report out last week, and it was saying that Topshop is not seen as the trendy go-to shop. Because when I was at, because I'm way older than you. Actually, I'm not that old yet.
Only 3 years.
Only 3 years. But you would have been the first year. I was the third year.
Yeah.
It was school. I'm way older than you.
Yeah.
Speaking of year 7.
Yeah.
Like Topshop was the go. Like, do you know what I mean? You were trendy, proper. Like, oh my gosh, yeah. Topshop was a thing, and it was so expensive. And it's saying that it's lost its cool. It's not got like Kate Moss was a big endorser for it. You used to see when Hollyoaks first started, a lot of them used to wear Topshop things, especially Mandy, the character Mandy used to wear Topshop things. Its digital business is not as great as Boohoo, Pretty Little Bit of Things, ASOS, all those kind of people.
Who they pay their workers.
Yeah.
£3
It's had to deal with like lots of problems with the owner, Phil Green. Is it Phil Green? Can you Google the owner of Topman? There's like a big. So Topshop is part of Dorothy Perkins and another group, and yeah, so it's had problems. So people steer away. And do you know what? Did you notice when we went in there, even though there was a massive sale on, Is it Phil Green?
Sir Philip Nigel Ross Green.
Yeah, him. Like, so he's had like loads of problems, like not paying his workers and stuff like that. You notice
he owns loads.
Yeah, they just agreed, isn't it?
Topshop, Topman, Wallace, Evans, Barton, Miss Selfridge, Dorothy Perkins, and The Outfit.
Yeah.
He must have so much money.
He is, but he's still a horrible person.
Is he? Why?
Just the way he deals. He deals with his workers, his lack of respect to his workers, all those kind of things. And
he looks like a slug.
yeah, it's all about the money, isn't it? His daughter was in Made in Chelsea. I remember that. His
Yeah.
claim to fame.
It says who is Chloe Green's.
Yeah, she was in Made in Chelsea. And it pours, and it's sustainability. Like, again, what you can get in Topshop, you can get in Primark.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And things like that. So it's just not valuable.
I wonder if
It's
that's going to be the next
overpriced.
one to shut down.
Well, apparently they're closing some of their shops. So, so it's just not viable. So, I don't know, it just came to me because it just reminded me of like when I was at college and I'd save up all my pennies and everything and go hungry just to buy a coat, which was like £90 from Topshop, just to say it was from Topshop, and just to buy a jumper that it was in Topshop. Actually, one of my friends, Catherine, I've mentioned her name now, but I'm sure she used to work in Topshop. She did used to work in Topshop. She did. I remember her working in Topshop. Yeah, Catherine used to work in Topshop. Okay, so question of the week. Are you ready to put it? Are you ready to put it on our page? Yeah. So I got this from On the Couch with Kim. Yeah. So On the Couch with Kim, she's basically a counsellor who has weekly sessions with people talking about dating, talking about relationships and love. And this last week was her, she interviewed Andrea Waters, who is training to be an NPL counsellor. Is that NPL? NLP, NPL. And she's the owner of Success Tutoring. And one of the main questions was, when dating, do you have a dating checklist? Yeah. So let's take it back 100 years, because you've been with G-Man that long. Did you have a dating checklist? Or when you were dating when you were younger?
No, I didn't have a checklist, but I had experience. So there was things I was putting up with and things I wasn't.
But before you even went...
No,
you didn't?
No way.
So you would literally just go with an open mind?
Yeah, 100%.
So how did you meet Gareth then?
We went to school together, actually. We didn't go to the same school, but we were in the same year growing up.
Yeah.
Had our first kiss probably around 14, 15. So we always knew of each other. But then we just got speaking again, on Facebook.
Connected again.
Yeah, and that was it.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I wasn't his type. I wasn't blonde.
Yeah.
Now.
With his little curtains.
How about you?
So, yeah, when I was younger, I would have a checklist. No. And yes, I did. And I would always like them very lighter skinned. And my friends used to laugh at me and say, because I used to say the creamier the better. So my checklist was mixed race boys. I don't know why, but I just used to like, I've gone so fair skinned now, I've gone for white. But, no, joke. But like, I don't know why, but I just used to like fair skin. And then I went for a phase where I'd like darker skinned men. Not necessarily, because when you're young, you don't really think about personality. You're all about good looks, good teeth, and, all them kind of things.
It's always about that.
It's always about that until you grow up. And even just listening to Saffron now, and she talks about, this guy's fit and this guy's good looking and whatever. And I'm like, really? And she's not thinking about personality and things like that.
Yeah.
And she'll grow out of that. She will grow out of it.
Of course.
So that used to be my checklist. And then I kept going out with these guys who were just idiots. And then when I met my husband, I did meet him at university, going into my second year in university. And it was almost like he was not my type at all. But our common foundation was that he was actually Jamaican. And he was born in Jamaica, came here when he was 6 or 7, and his mum was Jamaican. Yeah.
Right.
So I remember meeting his mum and walking into the house, could smell rice and peas. Do you know what I mean? And that was so it was almost like we're British, but our heritage, well, he was actually Jamaican, so that was our common thing. And he was quite good looking, and obviously we married, and whatever, the marriage didn't work out. And then I dated loads, and I didn't really have a checklist. I just always wanted, one of my main things is that you can make me laugh. Because if you can make me laugh, you are a winner. Because I just love jokes and I love banter and things like that. Like when we went shopping last week and Ryan was like, can you get me some ginger biscuits? So he said, so I tried to pick him up. Put him in the thing. He was like, oh my God, you're so cheeky, I'm not even ginger. But anyway, Yeah. So I like banter and things like that. But then I dated loads of idiots and I just think, oh, whatever. But then when I came back again from Ibiza, and then when before I met Ryan, I did have a checklist.
Right.
And do you know what I actually did? I wrote it down and I put it into the atmosphere, like visually. And I was like, this is what I want, this is what I need, and this is what I'm not going to compromise.
Yeah.
But I will compromise certain things. Do you know what I mean? And do you know what? It worked. I'm not saying for everybody to do that, but it did have.
It worked.
Yeah, it worked for me. So I did have a checklist. But I think when you're younger, it's a bit hard to have a checklist because you don't know. And I think dating comes with experience.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah. You don't have checklists when you're younger?
No.
No way.
No.
Would you have a checklist now?
Oh my God, definitely. Would you?
No.
Wouldn't you still?
Nah.
What? Like,
No,
seriously?
I have 3 musts.
What's the 3 musts?
The obvious.
The obvious.
Yeah. The obvious.
It's not the size, it's what you can do with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The obvious, probably.
I can't believe that's on your checklist.
The obvious, probably a job and good morals.
Yeah.
Those 3.
Because if you haven't got good morals,
And 4, no jealousy. Can't deal with jealousy. Never been a fan
because
of that.
then people get what's that? Possessive.
They think it's alright.
And then they get possessive.
The minute you give them that green light
Do you know?
to be like that.
But it's funny because obviously I had a checklist, and then I went on the date with Ryan, and the first 3 questions I asked him when we got to the restaurant, what's that Mexican restaurant called?
Mexican restaurant.
The one by the Barbican. What's it called? Arribas. Is it
Yeah.
Arribas? Yeah. That's where we went for our first date.
Nice.
And when we sat down, we ordered our cocktails, and I said, okay, so are you Black Lives Matter or All Lives Matter? And he said Black Lives. I said, are you Conservative or are you Labour?
Had the big things all gone on?
No, because this was 2 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Are you Labour or Conservative? And he said, I am Labour. Oh, okay, 2 out of 3. And then the final question, I was like, did you vote in Brexit or out? And he said, I voted in. I was like, all right, the date can continue. Because
What was the 2 out of 3?
Black Lives Matter.
He was Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Right.
Labour.
Yeah, you or Labour.
Yeah. And voted in Brexit or out Brexit.
So he was all 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the date can continue.
Yeah.
Because, I'm just compromising, but there's certain things I'm not compromising with.
That's deep. That's so deep. If you'd asked me that, I'd be like, I just wanted a cocktail and a fajita, love. Like, calm down.
I don't care.
Can I finish my steak fajita?
Because you know what? I had enough of, and this is what I mean. I know what I want, because I had enough of wasting time with dates and stuff like that. Yeah, and waste men. And don't get it twisted. You have white men that are waste men as well. Like, if you're a waste man, you are a waste man. Do you know what I mean? And I just had, you know, when you just have enough of all people wasting your time. Like, I literally don't have time. So if you're not all on that same level playing field as me, I'm not interested. I'm literally not interested. I can agree to disagree with certain things, and I can reach a compromise with certain things. But if I'm going to be with you as a woman, right, those basic values are... Because imagine if he'd have said to me, oh, all lives matter, and look what happened this summer. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you not think that they have to be on our wavelength to a certain extent?
That's a ridiculous question.
So,
like,
you know what I mean?
They need to be on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Completely.
Okay. All right then. So, so again, I'm just going to issue a trigger warning at the next section of the show. Maybe a bit sensitive. So we understand if this is when you start listening, we'll be discussing about Children's Grief Awareness Week, which is basically started this week and runs up until the 25th. It started last week, the 19th, and it goes up to the 25th. So there's a lot of information going on online, a lot of campaigns, raising awareness for children's grief. Obviously, when adults suffer from grief, it can have detrimental effects. So obviously also when children, suffer from grief, it can have a massive impact on them. So Children's Grief Awareness Week UK was founded by a leading child bereavement charity called Grief Encounter. It's designed to raise awareness of bereaved children and young people in the UK and how providing those affected with free professional support can make the world of difference to their future. So it starts on the 19th, and as I said, it finishes on the 25th, and it's a global day recognised to help us all become more aware of needs and grief of children. 255,000 people across the UK will be affected by grief as a result of the corona pandemic and faced with a multitude of extra challenges that social regulations have caused, including self-isolation, bereavement and restriction. So we're not just thinking about the kids that have lost people or parents or guardians through COVID, the actual sickness. We're talking about they've lost them as the impact of it. Like a couple of weeks ago, a mother, I think one child was 3 and one was 7. She committed suicide due to the fact that she couldn't cope because she had no money. The universal credits wouldn't help her, and because there's a large population of people who have still had no money during the pandemic because they don't qualify and tick the box for universal credits. They don't qualify for unemployment benefits, and there's certain elements that they don't qualify for. And those are the people who are like photographers, who work in the theatre, all those kind of. And then actually their foundation is called Excluded UK. If you hashtag Excluded UK or just type that into the search engine, a lot more information will come up. So this young mother couldn't get any help and actually committed suicide due to the fact that she couldn't care. And do you know what really annoyed me? The backlash of that, were people saying, she's selfish. How could she do that to her children? But nobody knows what that person is going through. So who are we or who am I to judge? Do you know what I mean? The next person. So child grief. Do you know anything about child bereavement or grief? Have you experienced it as a child?
No, I haven't.
No.
I've been quite blessed and sheltered in regards to that, to be quite honest with you, like family members and everything. But I do know about obviously Jeremiah's journey.
Yeah.
How much they help children, and I've got friends that kids have been helped through there. So
they're a good charity, aren't they?
Yeah, amazing. So
yeah.
hard one, isn't it? So,
I didn't realise grief was so. I mean, my granddad died when I was 10, and I would say that's the nearest and closest thing to me. That died when I was 10. I didn't have any counselling for it, and I sort of just learnt to live with it. But when I was 19, my boyfriend was murdered. I'm quite open to talk about it. He got murdered when I was 19, and so it was sort of 18. Yeah, so 18. So yeah, 19. So I turned 19 that year. And I think looking back that I should have had some sort of counselling, because even though 19, I was going off to university and things like that, I was still young. Do you know what I mean? And something so harsh as, somebody you really love, your first love, dying in such a traumatic way, I should have had some help for it. And actually, it came back to affect me in later life. So I had to go back and have counselling for it. And because of the tragedy of it, it wasn't just the fact that my boyfriend got murdered. It was also the fact that it was on the news. So I wasn't just dealing with it internally within my family and my friends and my circle. I would go and sit down and watch the news, and it was on the news. Do you know what I mean? So it's things like that had a massive impact. But my nan died this year, and the impact I've seen on Shiloh has been, so I've seen it through there, and I'm thinking maybe I might get her some counselling actually, because it's affected her in a way, to the point where my nan used to have loads of church hats, as that generation of black women used to wear their hats to church, and my nan had loads of hats. So Shina was like, "Can I have a few?" And my mum was like, "Yeah, take them if that's what you." And she would not take the hat off. She was wearing it everywhere to the point where she'd wear it in the car, and I'd say, "You can't wear it to school," and she'd put it on. And I think that was her way of feeling close to her.
Yeah.
And she swear blinds that Nan was in the room with her, and I was like, "That's crazy," because Nan's never. She's been to Plymouth, but grandma. They call her grandma. I call her Nan. Her grandma was in the room with me last night, and I was like, "She wasn't." And I said she wasn't sure. She didn't even come to this house. She wouldn't even know how to find this house. Do you know what I mean? And she was swear blind. And she was having dreams about her and things like that. Really, really impacting on her. And my mum was like, my mum even said it last week. I don't know how I would feel if I lost somebody at her age. So maybe she does need some sort of counselling.
Yeah.
So it's something that I probably will look into. And there's so many other charities, like there's Cause Bereavement Care, there's Care in Place, there's Child Bereavement, there's Way Widowed and Young, there's Childhood Bereavement Networks, there's Winston Wish, and there's Children's Grief, are all charities nationwide that do a lot and will help. Sean, you've mentioned Jeremiah's Journey.
Yeah.
Last year I actually did, there's something called, it wasn't Tough Mudder, it's like Woodstock, but it was like the Devon version of Tough Mudder, and I did raise over £100 for it, and I climbed through horse poop,
Really?
to raise money for Jeremiah, you know what I mean, and went through dirty, grimy water, and it was hard. So I like to do something for a charity each year, and I haven't done anything for any charities this year. I feel absolutely. Actually, I did. Did I do a danceathon? Yes, I did. Actually, I did do a dancing thing because it means so much to me to give back. Do you know what I mean? Especially as I'm able and I can do so. Going back to Princess Diana, I'll never forget that image of Prince William and Prince Harry walking behind their mother's coffin.
Yeah.
What do you think about how the grief must have impacted?
Horrendous. I can't even imagine how that must have felt for him.
Yeah.
Well, for both of them.
Yeah.
Both of them. So much pressure, I feel like, is on William.
Because he's the future king.
Yeah, and older. And Harry, I just think he looked like a little tiny baby.
Yeah.
I'm
sure he was about 9 at the time, 9, 10.
It was really hard to watch that, I remember.
Yeah. Do you remember watching the whole thing?
Yeah.
And it was a long walk, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They walked really a long way, didn't they?
Yeah, it was not nice.
Yeah. So, because Harry talks openly about mental health, doesn't he? And actually, William does as well. How it affected them when their mother died at such a young age.
It must be hideous.
It must have been hideous, and I think the impact of it, again, like I said in regards to my boyfriend when he died, was the fact that they couldn't just deal with it internally. They had to deal with it because it was on the press, it was on the news, speculation.
For sure, yeah.
The fact that his gran didn't come back to London for days.
No.
And didn't give a public speech.
No.
It was just everywhere, wasn't it? It was, do you think that's impacted on them? At the compassion that they have and the understanding that, because they've been through something that is real and that, they usually, I would imagine, as the royal family being closed off to certain things, but this was so real. I mean, you can't get any real than losing a parent, can you? And the fact that she's not here to see him now. I think she would be lovely with Kate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she'd be a good nanny, I reckon.
Yeah, she would. And she would have loved Meghan. She wouldn't have cared.
Well, I think so.
She wouldn't have cared about any of that.
Yeah. I actually think she would have been understanding what Meghan's going through.
Yeah.
Because there was a time where, if you watch these documentaries that I'm obsessed with, that the press sort of loved to hate her.
Yeah.
So although they had this sympathetic side to her, there was this side where they always needed to get a story.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? And the laws have changed. The paparazzi laws have actually changed. And Prince William made that a thing. Like, you cannot invade people's privacy like that. You know what I mean? Just to get hounded all the time.
Yeah.
But when you watch some of the things, I can't believe that the press were like that. When I watch the things now, it's really bad. Like, they're closer than me and you, like in their face taking a picture. There's actually one shot where they're going like this.
Yeah.
Now imagine them having to have to see that. And actually, I know that we think she was bumped off. It was paparazzi that was chasing her that led the car to crash.
Yeah.
And the guy was drunk as well.
Yeah.
And she never had a seatbelt on. So all that added on. Apparently the car was on its roof. That's how bad it was. And she was trying to get away from them. So, yeah. Did you think, because I think they're...
Driver couldn't have been drunk. The driver might not have been drunk though. He might have been poured down his throat once he was...
Yeah, we don't know, do we? No, exactly. So do you think that makes them more, like I said, like more understanding to grief and just being that real? Because when the Queen's father died, I don't know why I'm talking about the royal family, she was like, this is it now, you've got to step up. And she was only 23. She was young, you know, to step up. And she's in, like, you know, coming up to her 90s now.
It's a long old time.
It's a long time. But Prince...
To reign as well.
It is.
Like,
the longest ever reigning.
Yeah.
We won't see that again.
She's
in that
not
time.
gonna... She's not...
She won't give it. She's not giving it
the Queen
up.
Mum. I remember the Queen Mum.
She was 101, wasn't she?
Yeah.
When she died.
Like, so you've got good genes, obviously.
They
but,
don't
like,
do anything. That's
Charles
why.
is going to end up like being the king for like a year or something, and then do you know what I mean?
Oh God, don't say that. Oh my God. But yeah, so Prince Harry, do you think that you know, like them going through grief has made them a bit like normal?
Yeah, and I'd like to think that they remember what their mum embedded in them. You know, because I look at them and I do think they're a lot like her.
Yeah.
They're a lot like her.
Like Harry took his gap year in Africa. Like,
yeah,
you would never hear a word doing that. Do you know what I mean?
And he didn't give no help over like
choosing Meghan.
He didn't care about what he wanted to do, which is what I really like.
Yeah. If I want to do this, I want to do this. Is very much like that, isn't he? And William, again, he's part of Mind. I think he's like a charity, like the Mind charity.
Yeah.
Which is a lot to do with mental health, which again comes from grief and stuff.
Yeah.
So right now it's just, you know, what we need to do though is what we don't talk about. And I don't know if it's a British thing or it's a cultural thing. We don't talk enough about death, and it's not being morbid, it's being real, because it happens. At the beginning of life, we know that we've got to come to death, and grief is not talked about enough. You know, like we do infant loss and pregnancy awareness. You know, it's not spoken about enough, and this charity, where is it? Yeah, so this week, what this charity is encouraging is for people to speak about grief for younger people in like schools, universities, the workforce, and encourage children facing death of a parent or experience death of someone significant can be really hard on the child. So, you know, if you talk about it, it becomes not normal, because we don't want them to think that you're losing people all the time, but they just understand it and it's not brushed under the carpet. I have to say I do that with Shiloh. I say, oh, your grandma would like that, or what would grandma say? And think, oh, even today, it's just so random. Like, I don't know why, but she's got my nan's wig. She came downstairs with it. I'm like, you okay wearing that? She went, yeah, it's fine. She doesn't mind. But if that's how she feels close to my nan, who am I to say?
No, I agree.
Do you know what I mean? Saffron's got a jacket. She always wears her jacket. I've got a headscarf. My headscarf, that was my nan's headscarf. So we've all got little bits of my nan, which is really close to us. Do you know what I mean? So it is nice. So yeah, it's good to talk. And we just need to tell children and young people who are suffering with grief that there's lots of helplines, but there is a confidential grief talk helpline, which is it's only open from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. and that is 08 802 011. Okay, and you know, please phone up if you're suffering. You know, there's another advice line. Our First Steps advisory line is open Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and Fridays between 10 a.m. and 12 a.m. And that is 01752 424 348. And that is what you call it. That's Jeremiah's Journey.
Yeah.
And then outside of those times, there's Winston's Witch, which is 08088 020 021, and then Child Bereavement UK, it is 0800 02 888 40. Obviously, it's a bit weird when you phone places now due to COVID.
Yeah.
And that light, the sun's shining on the thing, but it doesn't matter because they can still hear us. It's fine. They don't need to see us. It's fine. So please, if you know of any children or young children who are going through grief or who have lost somebody or on the way to lose somebody, please put them in touch with these charities.
Absolutely,
you know,
yeah.
because it's the best thing.
And it helps.
It really does
All
help.
helps.
You know, just going back to last week, we were discussing about like having like mentors and counsellors and things like that. Do you think, because obviously grief is grief and certain things you can't separate, do you think that different cultures deal with grief differently? No.
I personally don't, but I mean, I can't say I've seen loads of different cultures going through things. So,
But do you think there's a need, again, like what we said, for black counsellors and black therapists and things like that? Do you think it would make a difference?
It's good for you to be able to identify with someone. I definitely think that. I don't know. It's like wanting to see a woman doctor.
Yeah, that's what I
Do you
mean.
know what
Like, yeah.
So for me, it's a weird subject. We need to have a bit of everything in that sort of line of work.
Yeah.
Because if you can't really identify, it's like sponsors like who help alcoholics. You want to speak to somebody who's been through it and understands the struggle that you're going through, to somebody that's just preaching to you and never felt that struggle. So it's kind of, that's how I feel about things. Again, like when you speak to a woman who's in a domestic abuse situation, when someone says just leave him, and it's actually not that easy.
No.
And you want to speak to somebody that's actually like, you're doing really well. This is how it is, and you know I've been there, and that's how you get by. You can't be around people that are robots. It's physically impossible.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that is much needed. I read, I can't remember where it was, but I saw it on my Instagram, and they were saying that again, how many disabled people actually make up our population, and they're still not represented in mainstream TV and things like that.
I'll tell you what, Channel 4 are amazing for disabled people.
Yeah.
They allow and
They've always been ahead though, haven't they?
and
Channel 4.
CBeebies as well.
Yeah.
CBeebies, you know, they have disabled people present.
Yeah.
They have somebody who's maybe, you know, lost a limb, or that they're making sure that children are seeing every possibility, because you know it isn't always a child's fault when they see somebody who
And they stare,
which you know you want to crumble, but at the same time, if your child's sheltered or not seen it,
they're not going to be used to it.
When they first see a black person, you know, or they first, you know, you've got to. Everything has to be represented to start the cycle of life.
Yeah. Do you think that's going back to like what Bella said as well with gender roles and gender?
Yeah.
If it's taught at school, because some people say that it's taught, it shouldn't be taught at school.
Yeah. I mean, like a prime thing is we were wrapping in the presents the other day. Me and Gareth was like, "What the hell? Have you bought this for us? It's a Spider-Man costume."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah," but you know, some people think.
She shouldn't have that.
Boys things, there's girls things, and it's just, it all needs to kind of, everybody just needs to chill out.
Yeah, and just, but like you said, the earlier it starts, the easier it is for people to understand.
Yeah.
And I think in a world we do need to represent everybody. Like Charlotte amazes me, like with her doll choices. She's like, I want the disabled one. I want the one with the amputated leg. And it's not because she wants to be different. That's just the one she wants. Like, that's her. Like, she wants that one. She's just she thinks out the box like already.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't get it, she's that child to ask that question. Why is that person got a leg like that?
Yeah.
That's not bad, because you know what I mean. Like I used to work with somebody who's like, and she said, "Why is his leg like that?" And he said, "I was bitten by a shark." just as a joke, because you know he knows that she's cheeky. He went, "Oh, I can tell she's trouble." And then, you know, when we was going back home in the car, she went, "No, Mum, it's like, really, why is his leg like that?" And I explained, and she was like, "Oh," and just got it. And that was it. So it's easy explaining it to a child than it is when they get older and they're asking, like, really crazy, like, wild questions. Like, why would you ask that? You know what I mean? It should be definitely.
That's going back to E4 though. That's why I love E4. I love Channel 4.
I don't really watch E4. I don't even know it's
all on the adverts, it's always someone disabled,
Yeah.
or if it's not somebody disabled, it's you know, they could have a speech problem, or like, and I just think that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Channel 4.
Different language.
Yeah, Channel 4 have always been ahead in that, within the sense that if there was anything to showcase, it would be like to do with like black people and things like that. It would be,
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like represented. Like they'd put black films on, black plays.
Yeah.
They'd always sometimes have a black voiceover, you know, linking the adverts. You know what I mean? Like they've always been ahead like that. And actually, I don't feel like I watch Channel 4 enough. Because there's so many other channels now, and I don't have to go to that to get that consumption of representation. Because if I want to, I'll just go to Netflix, because Netflix is on fire at the minute. It's not playing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Netflix is not playing. BBC Two iPlayer is not playing either. Do you know what I mean? They are like literally out there representing. So yeah, so I will check out Channel 4 once again. And that's it, coming to a close of our show. Yeah. Oh, I just want to raise awareness again to Southwest Suicide Prevention. Please follow the Insta page. The hashtag is SWSP. Like I said, I gave it a shout out last week. It's a girl who is a really good friend, and she's going around putting like really positive messages on high risk suicide areas. And actually, just reading the post in the week, I saw this and it literally made my heart felt. And it basically, all it was you are worthy if you wait there. Do you know what? Let me just go on the Instagram page and get it, because sorry.
That's brilliant. What was the Instagram page called?
What do you call it? Southwest Suicide Prevention.
Okay.
Right, so this, and it really touched me. So basically, it was at Ernest Settle Creek Woods, and it says call 116 112 to talk. Was that the one I saw? I can't even find it now. Oh, keep fighting, keep breathing, keep loving. And underneath the post, somebody's actually put, I love this so much. Seeing this has really lifted my spirits. Thank you. I can honestly say, if I found one of these little notes right now, it would really help. So do you know what I mean? So there are people out there like literally making a difference by doing something small and something, you know what I mean? Like literally, she's not getting paid for this. She's doing this in her own time. And I just think it's absolutely beautiful and absolutely amazing that she's doing it. So, you know, big up Gemma. You know, well done for doing something so beautiful and so careless. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're taking your time out to do it because you know that it's going to make a difference. And I'm not saying that she's going to save everybody's lives, you know, but it might make them think and actually give them that other chance, you know what I mean, of a phone call to make. Yeah. You know, so I love it. So please follow the Instagram page. It's Southwest Suicide Prevention. Hashtag SWSP, and she's also got Facebook page as well. So if you want to have a look on there, anything up and coming this week, we will post on our page. Anything else from you,
No,
Miss?
absolutely, that's it. I was
Miss
just having a
Healy?
look at the Instagram page.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
But yeah,
she's-
over and out from me. It was
Over-
lovely to catch up with you all.
even though she looks like she's ready to fall asleep.
I look like death today.
She's gonna go home and have a nap before the school run. Are you?
No,
oh, bless you. Yeah, you
I'm
are.
I don't nap in the day. Once I get outside in the fresh air,
That's it. You're done. Okay, so it's peace out from us, from the sister. You know our Instagram page, which is
sister_sister.
Follow us for anything. We'll always post daily things or every other day. And enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you next week. Thank you. Bye. What's that?